An update for you folks on the Ozzy Osbourne Geezer Butler fiasco. Maybe that's the wrong word. You might remember about 3 months ago now, I did a quick piece on here. Ozzy Osbourne had come out in, I think it was on some kind of podcast on some music channel. And he came out having a right pop at his old Black Sabbath bandmate, bass player Geezer Butler. Now I always thought Geezer was a nice fella. From what I've read, he's always been a nice guy. Anyway, Ozzy was going absolutely berserk. You know, he's had a lot of bad health the last 2 or 3 years, Ozzy. We all know it. Sharon's telling us all the time. And anyway, he's saying, and that Geezer Butler, he's a rat, he's no good. Not reached out to me once, not heard a thing from him in 2 years. I've been at death's door almost. I'm in a really bad way. Not heard from him, and he's been a mate of mine for 30 years. Well, he's a mate no more. Old Tony Iommi. Tony's been in touch, but Geezer's not. Anyway, this came out. They asked Geezer for his response, and he said, wait a minute, he said, I've tried to get hold of Ozzy on 2, maybe 3 occasions. Admittedly, I've done it by email. He said on 1 occasion I got a message back, I think he said off Sharon. This didn't surprise. Just sort of virtually knocking it back. Second time I sent an email, I got no reply at all. And I thought, well, what do I do? He said, he's always changing his phone number, Ozzy. He said, I couldn't get hold of him, and I got the feeling Sharon was protecting him. It does come on the back, I believe, of Sharon having a go, I think, if memory serves, at Geezer's wife. I think Sharon said something bad about her, and Geezer's wife won't be pushed around and said something back, and rightly so. So I think there's a bit of bad blood there. And as I've said in the past, Sharon isn't the nicest person in the world by any means, and often keeps things from Ozzy, and often makes decisions on his behalf. It's all his fault for letting her. I blame him as much as her. I'm not knocking her only. Anyway, there was developments yesterday I read, and Geezer, so Ozzy saying, Geezer said, we speak to each other nearly every day now, almost every day. He said, I'm back in touch, he said, but I still couldn't get hold of him. What I've had to do, I've had to go through our accountant, the Black Sabbath accountant. I've gone through the accountant and I've said, just tell Ozzy, he's put this about me not getting in touch. I've tried 2 or 3 times. I've had no joy whatsoever. If he wants to get hold of me, tell him to send me an email or give me a ring on this number. Anyway, Ozzy duly did. And from there, bridges have been and are being built. And they said he speak almost every single day, which is good. Geezer's also said, I believe Ozzy's floated the idea of Sabbath doing one last gig at Villa Park. It's our old stomping ground. He wanted to do it this year, but he doesn't think he's fit enough. He's even mentioned in the press that he'd love to do one last gig with Bill Ward, the original drummer, because Bill didn't appear on the last roster of gigs that they did. And Geezer said, I'm up for that. He said, I'm game for that. Nothing wrong with me and Bill at all. He said, but I don't know what Tony feels about it. He said, and I'm not sure if Bill's up to it, the playing of it, that is. I mean, and I don't know if he's had some ill health himself or just because he's getting older. I honestly don't know. But Geezer said, if Bill wants to do it and Ozzy wants him to, I've got no problem there at all. So you never know. It might happen again, folks, the original 4. But Geezer said if it does happen now, they're talking more next year than this because Ozzy's health is still too bad to get through a concert. But at least they're talking. And Geezer's gone to some lengths to try to make it that way. So Ozzy, I don't think you should be calling people down quite as much as you do without speaking to your trouble and strife first, because I think on many occasions your trouble and strife is your problem.